Welcome to the Order of the Lily and Eagle podcast. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Larry.
We've spoken about the three things that comprise each and every one of us: the body, a soul, a mind. But today we're going to speak about the soul or the psyche. Now, in our previous chat, we spoke about the body, and in that we identified essentially exercise and diet as being our duty, our obligation to our bodies. A reasonable exercise regime and a reasonable diet, which in most cases is broad diet, reasonable exercise, and the body is wise enough to keep us in good health, usually. But when we come to the soul, what we noted that the key thing, the core thing of the soul, our psyche, are our emotions: happiness, sadness, love, hate, like, dislike, essentially a form of attraction or repulsion. And as we said, and as you noted, we can be in that middle point, neither one or the other. We're just in a neutral position. But the number of different emotions out there are huge. They're endless. Anyway, moving on. There are two other things that are a quality of the soul, the psyche, and it's a sort of intuitive sense about things. So we don't actually sense it through our taste, touch, sight, hearing, and what have you. It's a feeling, or we should say an emotion. Anyway, it's in the soul, and we know it many times when we walk into a house. We'll get a good feeling. Oh, I feel at home here. Or we go, oh, I can't wait to get out. Or the same with a person. We meet somebody and we kind of go, oh, I'm not sure about this one. Or, no,
Yeah.
friend for life, you know. Also, it's interesting to note, often animals will notice it, this current, this energy that a person gives off, because a dog, a cat or whatever will naturally just gravitate to somebody who is, let's say, of a good heart, or will start barking for no particular reason. So not that a cat barks, but okay, you know what I mean, guys. Pay attention. So we call that the psychic current. It's the ability to pick up on that sense, intuitive sense of something. And then there's a third thing, which is the ability to believe in something. We call it faith, but it's not faith in itself. It's the ability to believe something. And everybody believes all sorts of different stuff. And that's why it's in our soul. It gives us the sense of, that's the truth. I believe it's the truth. But we're not focusing on that. We're going to focus on essentially the thing that's the largest thing in our soul, which is our emotions. And like I said, there's endless number of emotions. Right, so just as we discovered that the body needs to exercise and have diet, a good diet, we ask, well, what's good exercise for the soul and what's good food for the soul? Now, I want you all to sit there, close your eyes, don't think, which is impossible, but calm yourself down and ask yourself, what is my emotional state? And when we're in neutral, we're serene, it's calm, we're in the eye of a hurricane or a cyclone, and it's perfectly calm. There might be chaos going on around you, but you're just, yes. I would argue that's where we want our soul to be. That's the target, to be untroubled, unruffled. No passion will distort our being, make us crazy for love, which it isn't often for love. It's for control or whatever it is. We're trying to calm yourself down so that you're not being blown backwards and forwards by the whim of this emotion and that emotion. For instance, take anger. If you're continuously angry, this will not only make you feel bad, your emotion will make you feel bad, it will most likely, and does, harm your body. And usually it'll be the heart. And I working in engineering and production, many times I saw some engineers who were that angry, red-faced, and they were in their 50s, and you thought, oh my God. And on one occasion, I went to get his line manager and said, look, you need to really help this guy, because if not, he's going to have a heart attack. Luckily, they did bring an ambulance. He was that over the edge, and he was okay. But it was close. He just needed one more thing, and he would have, if he'd had a machete or a machine gun, he would have taken out half the company, you know. So that's not where we want to be. We know we don't want to be there, because we're happiest when everything is calm. Yes, it's nice to be in love. That adds to the joy. So there you go. I've used the word joy, happiness. And when you're in that state, you're serene, you're calm. So that's it.
It's a balance.
Yeah. Well,
You want to find the middle
it's
point.
no, I wouldn't say necessarily the middle point. It's a place where you feel good, for want of a better phrase. You feel that the world can't touch you. You feel that everything is in its rightful place. You feel good with yourself. Now, that may be in the middle, but it really depends on the person what middle is. Because the angry man who nearly had a heart attack, for him the middle is way, way, way over there for me. But for him, that would be his middle. So again, you see, this is a very important aspect. Each person is different. There is no one solution for everything.
But you see it in psychological disorders like bipolar disease, where that middle point doesn't come about very often. And they're trying to bring people back with...
Well, they try and help that with drugs, and of course that does help. And it's a very difficult condition. I do know a few people like that, but I don't know, to be honest with you, if... Well, of course it can be controlled. Who was the mathematician who did a lot of game theory? And there was a film about him, The Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
Fill in the name yourself, guys. Yeah. And he would see these people just standing there, and he assumed that they were real people and that they were trying to get him to do these various things for the government, you know, like Men in Black. And when he discovered people saying, but there's nobody there, it caused him a lot of trouble. Or lithium, he went on all sorts of things to try and control it. And when he got his, called it the Nobel, equivalent Nobel for mathematics, somebody sort of sidled up to him and said, are you still getting... And they said, yeah, they're over there. And do you know what his answer was? They said, well, how does that make you feel? Do they cause you trouble? And he said, no, I've got a mind. So basically he pointed to his mind as being able to control this phenomena that was going on inside of him, that was, making him topsy-turvy.
And we'll probably turn it.
We will go on to the mind, but it's just very interesting that bipolar is not, well, they don't call it now bipolar, they give it another name because of stigma associated with the name. But essentially, we all have that to a certain degree at some point in our lives, but we don't necessarily have the physicalization, but we find ourselves swinging wildly from one, what should I do? And that's the other point we need to make, is that you can go and ask other people what you should do, but at the end of the day, you have to make the judgment. You don't do what other people tell you just because you've got a deed poll collective that sort of 8 out of 10 people said you should do X. No. You've got to think about it, you've got to feel about it and see what the effects will be. And then if it goes well, great. If it doesn't, okay, you learned. Lessons learned. Okay, guys, it's perfectly okay to learn lessons and not to become, internal and turn it into something bad. We're trying to avoid distortions in our being, because anything that distorts us or takes control of us, whether it be a vice, physical vice, drugs and what have you, but we can have the same thing in our soul. We have a distorting factor that can make us act and feel in not very good ways. Now, of course, because this topic is never ending. We will be talking about specific things down the road. Like, for instance, what are tantrums and where do they come from? And why do adults still get tantrums? So this is a nice little subject we will discuss in another podcast. But it's all centred in the soul. That's where the work mainly is. But yeah, as my mum would say, are you having a paddy again, Kevin?
You might say something about, how you feed the soul. What's good nutrition for the soul? What's bad nutrition?
Well, good feelings.
Good feelings. Yeah.
Love.
Would you rather
kindness?
Rather love someone, or would you rather be walking around feeling anger and hatred towards people? Yeah.
If you want to be angry, do it. You'll find out that over time that it's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Being miserable, being depressed, being all those negative things, you're perfectly free to do it. But it's a lessons learnt situation that, do you feel better when you're smiling at people and showing kindness to people and all the, what we would say, the virtues of good, then do that. But if you want to be on the other side, then be that. I think even Christ has written somewhere, I don't know where, but it's written down somewhere, that I want you to be either hot or cold, not lukewarm. So he was basically saying, stop being a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of the other. Either be good, be bad, and find out. Find out for yourself. And I echo it, because we don't know anything when we're born. It's only through experience that we can learn where, what's good for us and what isn't. So it's goodbye from him. And it's goodbye from me, and have a great day.